Are you tired of being weighed down? Have you fallen asleep on your health? This is your wake up call with my dad, Keith, my husband, Kyle, and me, Ashley.
Good morning, people. This is your wake up call, and today is a Tuesday. It is day 44, and we decided to change things up a little bit. I'm sure a lot of you are tired of us talking about what we're eating every single day. I'm kind of tired of it too, so we decided to dedicate Tuesdays to talking about food and recipes and things like that. So we'll call this segment Tasty Tuesday. And for our first Tasty Tuesday, I want to talk about maybe some of our favorite whole food, plant-based meals and maybe staples that we keep around the house. So if Kyle or Dad, you have any of your favorites you want to share this morning?
Well, my staple, we've talked about this a couple times, is just most everything I do is around beans during the week.
Right.
We cook a big pot of beans early in the weeks, most of the time Sunday or Monday, and we'll work off those beans all week long.
Yeah, we do that. We do that a lot as well.
Tell you what's become a staple has been bananas for us.
Mm-hmm.
We just use a lot of bananas now. Even when they get all brown and old and ripe, super ripe, extra ripe, we freeze them and then those go into our smoothies and you don't have to add any sweetener or anything to them. So that's a definite plus, but it's become kind of a staple item for us.
And that's, but keeping bananas frozen and on the counter ready for eating has become an art form almost, because you have to buy some that are green, and then you have to be sure that you have some that are yellow and spotted to be eaten, and then you have to be sure that you keep some in the freezer too. So I finally getting there to where I can keep bananas in all forms, but it's taken a minute to figure that out.
Yeah, we go to Costco a lot, and we have to do what you say. You get the green ones and then the yellow ones, and but also what you got to do is figure out how the store manages their bananas. When do they come in,
Right.
and what day to go up there to get you bananas, because you can show up at Costco Tuesday or Wednesday and they don't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll have a big shipment come in towards the end of the week, so you have to figure out your stores and where you're buying your bananas as well.
Right. We also have a store in town called Save a Lot, and it's like a discount grocery store. And a lot of the times they will mark down their ripe bananas, the bananas that look like they're finally ready to eat. They've got a few little spots on them and stuff. And so sometimes I'll look up and go in there, and they'll have a ton of these marked down bananas, and I'll go ahead and buy them and let them sit on the counter for a few days and then put them in the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
that's also good. But that, you can't count on that. That's just luck,
Yeah.
So, yeah, we eat a lot of beans, and we have eaten a lot of bananas this time around, which I'm glad, because for several years I was not digesting bananas well. They made me feel sick, gave me heartburn real bad. I don't know what's different this time around, but I'm glad that I can eat them again.
Well, if you eat them when they're too green, they're really hard. They're hard to digest.
Yeah, you're right about that. Let me see. What are some favorite meals that y'all like to eat that are plant-based?
Tough one. That is a tough one. Kind of all-in-one package is maybe like a vegan shepherd's pie, because it's got a little bit of everything. mushroom gravy on the inside, and then your potatoes on top. You bake that off. So, one, you don't have to mess up.
A lot of people will buy like those fake meat crumbles or whatever to put in it, but I don't do that usually. I'll just, whatever vegetables I have, I'll chop them up, and like Kyle said, I'll make like a oil-free mushroom gravy to go on them. And then you make mashed potatoes on top and you bake them in the oven. That is a good meal. I like that. You're right, it's all in one, and
yeah, sounds good.
Pretty tasty. It's pretty tasty.
Yeah.
Well, usually, especially during the winter months, we'll towards the end of the week we'll put together some kind of soup.
Right.
You know, based on our leftover beans and vegetables for the week.
Mhm.
That'll happen almost every week. You know, during the winter time. During the summer, not so much. But you know, our regular weekday go-to meals revolve around the beans and potatoes, beans and rice.
Mhm.
You know, that type of thing.
We do a lot of oven fries. So, guys, if you've never tried these, they're really great. You need to have parchment paper so that they don't stick. But you can just slice up a potato, put it on parchment paper, and bake it. I usually bake mine around 400 or 420. And they get crispy without any kind of oil. Red potatoes are especially the best because the outside of them gets crispy and the inside is like good and creamy. So we eat a lot of those. Sometimes I just eat a plate of those as a whole meal.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just use it as a side. But that's a really good little side. But I will say that my favorite thing to eat, and it's like this, I've always been like this, Asian is one of my favorite types of foods to eat. And what I found the past few years eating more plant-based is that it's very easy to make an Asian meal with no meat, because most Asian countries don't use a lot of meat anyway. They may eat a little bit of fish here and there, but if they're eating meat, historically it's been for seasoning, or they have very, very small portions of it. And if you have, if you've watched Forks Over Knives, and they talk about the China study a lot in that, and it shows that all of these countries who haven't been built up into big, like, metropolis type cities with fast food and all this stuff in it, their cancer rates are like non-existent, because they're eating mostly vegetables and maybe a little bit of fish here and there, and they're not consuming processed meat or
sugar,
McDonald's, and
right.
So that's interesting. But anyway, like I was saying, it is very easy to adapt an Asian meal into a whole food plant-based meal. So we do a lot of, like, I say stir fry, but I don't know another name for it because I'm not frying it. I don't use any oil, but, I guess mixed vegetables and rice, we do that a lot. We do tofu every once in a while, and it's just, and it's, if you have to go out also, and you'll find yourself in times where you have no choice but to eat out sometimes. If you hit up an Asian spot, a Chinese place or a Japanese place, it's going to be very easy to find something that you can eat that doesn't have any meat in it. So I do appreciate that.
Yep, that's kind of a go-to place when you're on
Yeah,
the road.
it is.
Mm-hmm. We travel a lot, and we found the Chinese and the Japanese places. We'll go there a lot. We'll even go to Subway and get some kind of vegetable sandwich or whatever if we need to. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so you could survive. You just have to, know the spots to go to. So.
Yep. Eating out is not what it used to be.
No.
A little bit more
No.
difficult to find a place, but you can do it if you look.
That's right. And it's it's still going to be hard because in many cases you're going to be sitting there eating with other people who aren't on your plan, and so that's always a little difficult. They'll be sitting there eating, chicken and broccoli or, sesame chicken, and you're like, yeah, I'm eating this rice and these vegetables. So that's always fun.
Sometimes members of your own family will be sitting there eating chicken nuggets.
Yeah, I don't know who does that.
I don't know anybody like that. Or they get you to cook them some chicken nuggets. That's the worst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well. All right. Y'all have any other favorites you want to share today before we close her on up?
No, I don't have anything really. It's kind of a boring thing.
It's basic. Yeah.
It's basic, and but if you learn how to put just whole foods together, and
right.
There's kind of like I say, sequence of you'll put beans and rice or beans and potatoes or there's stuff that you can put together and do it kind of different every day, and it's you get used to eating. I mean, I'm kind of basic in my eating patterns anyway.
Right.
I eat the same thing every day, for months.
Yeah, and
I'm
even
fine.
when you were eating meat, it was like that. I remember Mom had about 5 different things she would rotate through, and that was it,
Yep.
And I think most people are like that. You find your favorites, and you just stick to it.
Stick with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially if they're quick and easy, and
Yep, that's right.
Well, alrighty, I'll wrap us up for today. Thank you for listening. And find us on social media at Our Heavy House. Let us know, what are some of your favorite meals and staples. I'm always open to learn more things and introduce new foods, because the longer you eat this way, the more you realize there's so much variety in vegetables that you never even imagined. So yeah, let us know what your favorites are. And thank you for listening, and we will be back tomorrow. Have a good day.